You're scrolling through your phone and you see someone your age just hit their first $1 million. And your first thought isn't congrats. Your first thought is, why not me? You close the app. You go back to your life. And somewhere in the back of your head, that little voice whispers, maybe it's just not meant for me. But here's what nobody tells you. That voice is lying. Because the truth is, most people who are actually on track to becoming millionaires have absolutely no idea that they're on track. They're doing the right things, building the right habits, making the right moves, and they still feel behind. They still feel like they're missing something. They still feel like the $1 million mark is this distant, unreachable fantasy reserved for people with rich parents, lucky breaks, or some kind of secret they were never let in on. And today, I'm going to expose that lie completely. My name is Max, and in this video, I'm going to show you 4 signs, 4 very specific, very real signs, that you are actually much closer to $1 million than you think. Not motivational fluff, not believe in yourself nonsense. Real, concrete, mathematical signs that your financial life is quietly compounding towards something massive. Stay until the end, because sign number 4 is the one that most people completely overlook, and it might be the most powerful of all. Let's get into it. Sign number 1. You've already started, even if it feels like nothing. Let me ask you something. Do you have any money invested right now? Anything at all? A 401k through your job that you barely think about? A Roth IRA you opened 2 years ago and deposited $200 into? A brokerage account with a few shares of an ETF you bought because a YouTube video told you to? If you said yes to any of those, congratulations. You are already ahead of the majority of people in this country. Not slightly ahead, dramatically ahead. Here's the data that should shake you. According to Federal Reserve studies, nearly 40% of Americans cannot cover a $400 emergency without borrowing money or selling something. And roughly half of Americans approaching retirement age have less than $10,000 saved. Half. These aren't lazy people. These aren't unintelligent people. These are people who never started, or who started and stopped. You haven't stopped. And here's why that matters more than you realize. The math of compound interest is brutally, almost unfairly, biased toward time in the market over everything else. Let me show you exactly what I mean. If you're 25 years old and you have $5,000 invested right now, just $5,000 sitting in a broad market index fund, and you never add another single dollar at an average 8% annual return by the time you're 65, that $5,000 becomes approximately $108,000. You didn't touch it. You didn't stress about it. You just let time do the work. But now let's say you're also adding $300 a month on top of that. $300 a month is $10 a day. It's skipping 2 or 3 restaurant meals a week. At that rate, starting at 25, by age 55, not 65, not 70, 55, you are sitting on over $1 million. $1 million from $300 a month. The problem is that when you're in the middle of it, when you're at year 3 or year 5 and your account says $18,000, it doesn't feel like you're on track for $1 million. It feels like you're nowhere. It feels like the goal is so far away that the effort barely seems worth it. But this is exactly how compounding works. It's not linear, it's exponential. The first years are the slow years. The last years are where the magic happens. And the people who win are simply the people who don't quit during the boring middle part. You started. That means you're in the game, and most people never even buy a ticket. Sign number 2. Your expenses are lower than your income, even by a little. This sounds obvious. This sounds almost too simple to be a sign of anything meaningful. But let me tell you why this is actually rarer than you think. and why the gap between your income and your expenses is one of the most powerful wealth-building levers that exists. There's a term in personal finance called your savings rate. It's the percentage of your income that you keep and invest rather than spend. And most financial experts will tell you that your savings rate is the single biggest predictor of when, not if, when, you will reach financial independence. Let me put some numbers to this so it really lands. If you earn $60,000 a year and you save 5% of it, you're saving $3,000 a year. At that rate, reaching $1 million will take you roughly 55 to 60 years, assuming decent market returns. But if you increase that savings rate to 20%, still $60,000 a year income, so you're saving $12,000. That timeline drops to somewhere around 35 years. Push it to 40% savings rate, and you're looking at around 22 years to $1 million. The income didn't change. The investment returns didn't change. The only variable was how much you kept. Now here's where most people get this wrong. They look at that 40% number and they think that's impossible. They think you need to be making 6 figures, living like a monk, never going out, never enjoying your life. And that's just not true. A 40% savings rate at $60,000 a year means you're living on $36,000. In a lower cost of living city, that's actually a pretty comfortable life if you're intentional about it. And here's the kicker. As your income grows, which we'll talk about more in a second, that savings rate becomes easier and easier to maintain without changing your lifestyle at all. The sign here isn't that you're saving a perfect or impressive amount. The sign is that you are living below your means, even slightly, even imperfectly, even in months where you look at your bank account and think, that's barely anything. If your income is $50,000 and your expenses are $47,000, that $3,000 gap is a seed. And seeds, given time and the right conditions, turn into trees, then forests. The people who never build wealth aren't usually the people who make bad investments or pick the wrong stocks. They're the people who spend every dollar they make, sometimes more. They never create a gap. And without a gap, there's nothing to compound. You have a gap. That's the sign. Sign number 3. Your income has grown. In the last 2 years, think back to what you were making 2 years ago. Now think about what you're making today. If that number has gone up, even a little, even in a way that felt like it barely kept pace with inflation, that is a signal worth paying serious attention to. Here's why. Income growth is not just about having more money to spend. Income growth, when combined with a stable or controlled lifestyle, creates what wealth builders call lifestyle leverage. Your expenses stay flat or grow slowly. Your income accelerates. The gap between the two, that savings rate we just talked about, widens automatically, without you doing anything extra, without any additional discipline or sacrifice. This is how people go from saving $300 a month to saving $1,500 a month in just a few years. Not because they radically changed their habits, but because their income grew and they made a conscious decision not to inflate their lifestyle at the same rate. This concept is called lifestyle deflation, and the people who master it are the people who look up at 40 and realize they're sitting on a number that shocks even them. But there's another layer to this that I want you to understand. The fact that your income has grown means something about you, about the kind of person you are and the trajectory you're on. Income doesn't grow by accident for most people. It grows because you developed a skill, because you negotiated, because you changed jobs, because you started a side hustle, because you invested in yourself in some way that paid off. And that behavior, the behavior of someone who actively works to increase their earning power, that is the behavior of someone who becomes a millionaire. not because of one big win, but because that compounding behavior applied over a decade produces results that feel almost unreal. Let me give you a specific example. Say you're 28 years old right now. You make $55,000 a year. You're saving about $500 a month. That's solid, but not extraordinary. Now imagine that over the next 10 years, through job changes, skill development, maybe a side business, your income doubles to $110,000. You keep your lifestyle relatively controlled. Maybe it grows a bit. You're not a robot. And now you're saving $2,500 a month. You run the compounding math on that. By the time you're 50, you are almost certainly a millionaire. And you got there not through some dramatic single event, but through the steady, boring, powerful compounding of skill growth, layered on top of financial discipline. The sign isn't that you're rich right now, the sign is that you're trending upward. And upward trends, sustained over time, become extraordinary outcomes. Dörrünü. Sign number 4. You think about money differently than you used to. This is the one most people skip over. This is the one that sounds soft and psychological and not real enough to matter. And this is the one that I genuinely believe is the most predictive of all. Let me explain. There's a concept in behavioral economics and wealth psychology called your financial thermostat. The idea is that every person has an internal, often unconscious set point for how much money they feel normal having, earning, and keeping. And your behavior, your spending, your saving, your risk tolerance, your conversations about money will unconsciously work to maintain that set point, whether it serves you or not. Someone whose financial thermostat is set to $30,000 a year will, without even realizing it, find ways to spend down any money above that number. A raise will get absorbed into lifestyle inflation. A bonus will go toward a vacation or a new car, not because they're bad with money, but because at an unconscious level, having significantly more than their set point feels uncomfortable. It feels unearned. It feels like it's not really theirs. Now here's the sign I want you to look for in yourself. Think about how you thought about money 2 or 3 years ago. Think about the conversations you had, the anxiety you felt, the ceiling you put on what was possible for you, and compare it to now. If you're watching a video like this one, if you're thinking in terms of investments, compound interest, income growth, financial independence, your thermostat is shifting. And that shift is not a small thing. It is a complete rewiring of the most fundamental relationship you have with money, with wealth, with what's possible for your life. Most millionaires didn't become millionaires because they were smarter or luckier than everyone else. They became millionaires because at some point, often years before the money actually arrived, they started thinking like a millionaire. They started making decisions from a place of long-term thinking rather than short-term relief. They stopped asking, how do I afford this right now, and started asking, what does this decision cost me an opportunity over the next 10 years? That mental shift is not nothing. That mental shift is everything. And there's something else. The fact that you're being honest with yourself about where you are financially, that you're not lying to yourself, that you're not pretending the problem doesn't exist, that you're actually looking at your numbers and thinking about your future. That is a sign of a level of financial maturity that most people spend their entire lives avoiding. Money conversations are uncomfortable. Facing your net worth, your debt, your savings rate, facing the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Most people don't do that. They look away. They tell themselves they'll deal with it later. They subscribe to the idea that ignorance is somehow bliss, when really all it is delay. You're not delaying. You're watching, you're learning, you're thinking, you're planning. And that behavior, that singular behavior, is what separates the people who build wealth from the people who wonder why they never did. The math that puts it all together. Let me bring all 4 of these signs together and show you what they actually look like when they compound against each other. Because individually, each one is powerful. Together, they're transformational. Sign 1. You've started. You have money in the market. Let's say $8,000. Sign 2. Your expenses are below your income. You're saving $400 a month. Sign 3. Your income has grown. You're on a trajectory where that savings rate will likely increase to $800, then $1,200 a month over the next 5 to 7 years. Sign 4. Your mindset has shifted. You're thinking long term. You're not going to panic sell when the market drops. You're not going to blow a bonus on something you don't need. You're compounding not just money, but wisdom. Now let's run that math. $8,000 starting balance, $400 a month for 3 years, growing to $800 a month for the next 4 years, then $1,200 a month for the following 5 years. Average 8% market return. 12 years of consistent, unspectacular, boring investing. You cross $300,000. And here's where it gets wild. Because of how compounding accelerates in the later stages, the next $700,000, the distance from $300,000 to $1 million takes less additional time than the first $300,000. Not because you do anything different, but because the base is now so large that the returns are generating returns of their own at a scale that your early contributions never could. This is why millionaires often say that the first $100,000 was the hardest, and the first million, once you understand compounding, almost feels inevitable. The honest truth. Nobody wants to say, "I want to be real with you for a second," because I think you deserve honesty over hype. These signs don't mean you're going to be a millionaire by next year. They don't mean you're going to retire at 35 or that the hard work is done. The road is still long. There will be setbacks, market crashes, job losses, unexpected expenses, life happening in all the ways that life tends to happen. But here's what these signs mean. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not someone who just doesn't understand money or who was never meant to be wealthy. You are a person who is doing the actual things that wealth is built on, imperfectly, incrementally, but consistently. And consistency over time beats everything. It beats high income. It beats smart stock picks. It beats getting lucky. Because the person who shows up every single month, every single year, and keeps investing even when it feels pointless, that person, without exception, wins. The $1 million is not a lottery ticket. It is not reserved for the privileged. It is a mathematical outcome that follows, slowly then suddenly, from the exact behaviors you are already practicing. What to do? Right now. If you've made it to this point in the video, you already know what to do. But let me make it concrete. Check your savings rate this month. Calculate it. The actual number. Then ask yourself what one thing you could change, one expense you could reduce, or one income stream you could build to move that number up by even 2 or 3%. Then don't touch your investments. I'm serious. Log out of your brokerage app. Stop checking your portfolio every day. The math works when you leave it alone. The enemy of compounding is not market volatility. It's you reacting to market volatility. And keep working on sign 4. Keep reading. Keep watching. Keep questioning your beliefs about money, where they came from, whether they're serving you, and whether the financial thermostat you inherited is actually calibrated for the life you want to build. Because if you do those things, if you stay consistent, stay curious, stay in the game, the million isn't a dream. It's a destination, and you're already on the road. If this video added value to your financial thinking, hit the like button. It genuinely helps more people find this content. Subscribe if you want more videos built around real wealth strategy, not hype. And drop a comment below. Which of these four signs hit closest to home for you? I read every single one. See you in the next one.